how can you take a concept and get to the implementation stage quick as possible? Design itself is very complicated. So what we're demonstrating here today at the show is how you can create a speed detection system. So imagine yourself being a system design engineer, or you see yourself as an architecture engineer. How can you take a request where you want to design a speed detection system to creating block diagrams as your initial thoughts? The block diagrams are there to really understand what each function does and how it connects to one another. And what we're demonstrating here is, if we go down to a particular block diagram, what options and availability do we have for our users? And by clicking on this option here, we can quickly see what is available to our audience. We're also highlighting who our distributor or component manufacturer who's provided that reference design. And we're looking at providing confidence that what they're selecting is right for them. So we have star ratings. You can actually identify who the supplier is of that design, and you can select the design.
Yeah, whereas today someone may search for a part number, now we're actually searching for a whole reference design.
In here, you can now see the reference design and all the properties related to that design itself, and all the documentation and what application that reference design has been used in the past. But the beauty here is we take it one step further, and that is you can now actually edit that reference design. And what we're doing here is providing that platform which enables you to take that reference design and really personalize it to your requirements. So what you see here is the speed detection system, and this reference design has been provided by Avnet, but I want to make some minor changes to this. So what I want to do is delete some functionality that I no longer require. At the same time, I want to make some changes to this in a way that really personalize it to my needs, based upon the requirement spec and what we want to achieve from this product. We can also add software functionality to this as well, where, because it's a speed detection system, I also want the AI face recognition software requirement to this as well. And what I'm slowly doing is building up what I need, align it to my needs, and on this left-hand panel here is all the information you need to make an informed decision. So you no longer need to go onto multiple websites, go across to multiple component manufacturer or distributor's website to find that data. It's all there available to you on this system design software. In addition to that, what we're also demonstrating at the trade show is the ability to ask relevant questions. So I made some changes to the design, but now I want to look at what MPU is out there that meets that requirement. So what we're demonstrating here is the ability to now fast track that research process and discover solutions that are available to you today, which have been proven. And with this advanced AI search capability, you're able to identify very quickly the MPU that is aligned to your needs. So in this case, my requirement requires it to be a power efficient solution. So I can select the Renesas RZ family. And now it goes to the next level down, which is the components itself. And using all this insight, I can make an informed decision about what we need. So I'm going to choose the VMN2. Now you can see that over here, it's actually added that component to the MPU. So when I come back again in the future, I've got that information, I've got the data sheets all here. So you can now continue building your design to your needs. There may be occasion where you may need to ask a question. And what we're offering here is the ability to connect to the reference design supplier, in this case it's Avnet, and I may want to ask a question around the camera. What I can do is submit a question, and the question could be, I'm looking to use a Linux OS system. Does my camera have a driver for that? So I can type in the question about the driver, and what you notice here is everything's masked off. So that way I can really keep my design and intellectual property around that aligned to my needs. And if I need to share it, I can share that with them as well. But what we're demonstrating here is you're adding context behind the question. So when the Avnet FAE actually picks up my message, they'll see what I'm trying to achieve, and they've got the context behind this, and they can make an informed decision and help me to solve those solutions or answer those questions. At the same time, if you look at what you do today, you're generally picking up the phone, trying to find an FAE to pick up the phone. Then you're trying to share information, or you're sending emails without all the context behind it. So this is going to fast track your response rate. Everything is digitally registered. So once you submit that question, it's always going to be there. So you can come back after 1 month, 3 months, or 6 months or so, and that question will always be there. And the response that you got from the FAE is already in the system as well. Once you made all the changes you need, there's a time where you go, now I'm ready to take on a evaluation kit. So by clicking on the order solutions, you can now order that eval kit aligned to your needs, that's been customized to your requirements, and therefore you're fast tracking that implementation stage. And what we're demonstrating here is not just providing the diagrams, we also provide a lot of documentation that you can then refer to at a later date and really help you fast track the justification, what you're trying to do and why you want to achieve that. And then there'll be a stage where, as I mentioned at the beginning, you want to go from concept to implementation. Now the implementation stage within Altium Designer, you have that ESD file, you can import it directly. So when you start building this and start implementing the design, you've got all that insight, all that information, all the feedback from the FAE, and all the questions you need so that they can understand what you're trying to achieve and the rationale behind it. And now from there, you can start creating the schematic aligned to each of those function blocks. And you can also fine tune your PCB board design. And more importantly, look at your BOM to making sure the components that you're selecting are in line to making sure they're available and there's no end of life or not required for new designs. So not recommended for new designs. And by doing this, you're giving all that information, you're fast tracking something that's generally quite complicated that can take many weeks to do into a matter of minutes or hours by using these tools to really fast track and implement your design in a smooth and efficient way. So to recap on Discover, it's a tool that allows you to edit your reference designs, its ability to communicate and engage with the FAE and interface it to a ECAD system seamlessly.
So what do you think, what's the most exciting part about having the solution now available for the engineering audience?
The benefits for an engineering audience is we're going to build this ecosystem. Our whole ecosystem is going to allow you to build things more efficiently, more effectively, and reduce your time to market. By allowing our engineers to find solutions and discover solutions out there in the marketplace, it's going to make their lives easier. And anything that we can do to help our community to become more efficient and effective is going to help us to grow as they grow and build that partnership that allows people to become very efficient at what they do.
So if you want to think about Octopart.com today and how a live implementation of this may occur, so I'm going to pull up this reference design here. This is coming from Renaissance. So a lot of what Josh just showed, the schematic, the PCB, the 3D in the BOM are also available here. And then we can really try to not conceptualize, but practically see when you'd want to edit a part out. So here you can see the life cycle status of all of these cards. These are all active, these are fine. But if you kind of scroll down a little bit, we'll run into a part here that's life cycle status is discontinued. Even though this isn't the reference design, you as a designer will want to edit this part out to make sure that this is long-term scalable, it works for your organization. You don't want to use a discontinued part. So this is a real practical use case for when you'd want to edit that reference design. So what are the incentives for each of the different communities and how do they benefit from it? So Altium is the design software, the component engineers, the manufacturers and distributors. How do each of these communities benefit?
So if you look at it from a component manufacturer, they want design wins. And the more design wins they have, the more they can sell into the marketplace and establish themselves as a credible solution provider. From a distributor perspective, they want these design win references. And by doing so, they're connecting their users to the solutions they provide. And for our users, they want to fast track the approach from a concept to delivering a solution with trusted designs and reference designs which they can use and deploy in an efficient and effective way. So Jaren, how can our users find out more information about Discover?
So you can go to altium.com. There's a tab for Discover where we're going to be sharing all the newest things about it. You can actually sign up and get notified right here. And then you can complete some information and you can be notified as soon as it's available. Excited, sign up and build with us and discover the Altium.